W6WUH.
Oh, yeah, Larry, I did hear you. W6WUH. Who else?
K6ZTA.
All right. Any others? Okay, well, here's what I got so far. Let's just send it around. We got 25 minutes. I got Andy, KD6TKX, Steve, KF6SYD. Nice to hear you, Steve. Mike, W7MS, and Bob, AK6R, and then go ahead and give it back to me. This is W6DQ. Take it away, Andy.
Okay, Dennis, thank you, W7DQ. Taking the earlies on the fly. Well done. Thanks for stepping in. This is KD6TKX Andy at Curry Mountain. Good to hear everyone tonight. If the band stays like this, we should be doing great. Over to you, Steve, KF6SYD, KD6TKX.
All right. Good to hear you, everyone. Dennis, good to hear you. And I read last week's email, and I thought that's a topic I can do, but I wasn't here and I didn't do it. We'll see what it is tonight. But good to be here with all you guys. And I'll turn it over to W7MS. Go ahead.
Well, thank you, Steve. KF6SYD, W7MS, Mike in Reno, where it's currently 43 Reno degrees and it's dark. So over to Bob, AK6R, W7MS.
Yeah, W7MS and the group. And thanks for taking the earlies.
DQ, this is Bob, AK6R. And beautiful day today. Good to see everybody, or good to hear everybody. And let's throw it back to Dennis. W6DQ, AK6R.
All right, Bob, very good. Nice signal. In fact, everybody's sounding great here. Let's see if I got anybody else who'd like to join us. Please call. This is W6DQ. Kilo 2, Romeo Papa.
WA6.
Let's see, I've got Ron, and it was Whiskey Alpha 6 LJR. Bill?
Yeah, I'm going to fire up the amp here after the fried rice is done.
All right, fantastic. Good to have you aboard tonight. Let's see. Okay, let me, I'll check for some more in a little while. I got next up line is Paul, K2LMQ. Nice to hear you on tonight, Paul. Haven't heard you for a while. Then George, W6YEC. Kevin, W86JKN, and W8VG, and I cannot remember your name. I apologize. I know it, but I can't. That's like just, right on the CRS. What can I say? So it'll be your turn and then back to me. Sorry about that. So it's W6DQ. Paul, take it away.
Okie dokie. W6DQ and the gang. K2LMQ, Paul and Kingman, Arizona. Thank you, Dennis. We're okay here. We had a couple of really nice sunny days, and we've got some storms coming in that I think some of you guys are getting up on the north up there. Other than that, all is well. I'm on the TR7 and the SB220, about 500 watts. Go ahead, Dennis. K2LMQ.
Try again.
Goes to George, W6YEC.
All right, very good. Thanks, Paul. You're sounding good tonight, my friend. Very loud in here. Everybody's loud. Thanks, Dennis, for graciously picking things up here tonight. And I'm running the TS520 Sugar and the MC60 microphone, or 50 microphone, and watching everything on the FM220 monitor scope. So with that, let me, Collins 30L1, sorry. Let me move it up to Kevin, see how he's doing up there. WA6JKN, take it away, Kevin, W6YEC.
Yeah, W6YEC, WA6JKN. Very good. Yeah, copying everybody just fine. Hang on a second here. I gotta check my mic level. Here, let me do this. I'm going to drop 1,000 volts here. Okay, that's better. All right, I'm also on the 520 with the TL922 Alpha. MC50. Matter of fact, George, I found both the MC50, so I'm pretty happy right now. And you know, it happened to be the last box I dug through to find it. And boy, I found all kinds of goodies. Yeah, so it's kind of nice to be able to have to look for something. You forget what you have, and you reacquaint yourself with a lot of neat stuff. Okay, well, let's keep it moving here. I'm going to turn it over to George. That's W8 Victor Golf. Good to hear you in there, George. Good signal. WA6JKN, Kevin and Gilroy.
Yeah, okay, Kevin. WA6JKN up there in Gilroy. Here is W8 Victor Golf. George here in Oro Valley, Arizona, about 10 miles north of the old Pueblo, Tucson. And good to hear. I'm hearing everybody really good so far. I'm on the old Drifty Drakes here, the Drake B line, and just turned them on. So hopefully here in I don't know, about 20 minutes or so, they'll be happy and quit drifting. And Dennis, you and I have met, but it's been many, many years ago when I lived in Fullerton. Was a neighbor of yours in Fullerton. I remember spending Saturday morning over there looking at all your nice vintage gear. Anyways, we were only there for a couple of years and ended up retiring down here about 10 years ago. Anyways, that's what's going on tonight. Back over to you, W6DQ, W8VG.
All right, George, very good. Fantastic. Thank you. And yeah, I vaguely remember that. You know, it's like half the time I can't remember what I had for breakfast, so trying to remember somebody's name it becomes a little more difficult. But yeah, signals are just awesome. You got a beautiful signal here. On my very accurate, stingy 75S3C, you're pushing 10 over, and S9 is calibrated to 50 microvolts, so you got a bodacious signal here. You're sounding really good. As everyone else tonight, boy, I hope it keeps up. All right, let me get the next group, and then I'll look for some more check-ins again. I've got Lisa, KF6QNG, Brian, and I6Q with another bodacious signal. Larry, W6WUH, and Vaughn, K6 is ZTA, and Vaun, go ahead and send it back to me. So, Lisa, it's your turn. KF6QNG and the growing group, W6DQ.
Okay, thank you, Dennis, for taking me early, and look forward to the roundtable, see what all comes up. So it's got a fairly good group going here, so I'm glad of that. So with that, it goes over to NI6Q, Brian from KF6QNG.
Beautiful weather here in Flagstaff area. Really nice, and no rain, nothing at this point, so no complaints. For that, I'll pass it back to W6WUH, Larry, for the continuation of the festivities. Hold on a second. This is probably better here. Yeah, I think I was on the AM position. I don't know if it defaults into USB or LSB. Anyway, USB, you're on upper sideband. Okay, so Larry, you probably copy me now. Better than a few seconds ago. W6WUH, this is an I6Q.
Somebody said you're on upper sideband at W6WUH.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got it sorted out, Brian. You got it. You're back on lower sideband, and he handed it over to you, Larry. Okay.
Cut me with my pants down here. Well, I'm browsing through an old magazine that I had as a boy.
and I came across something which says the Aldeco SSB 100M is a new compact mobile sideband transmitter, and it's got a picture. Anybody ever heard of that thing? Anybody know if that ever went into production? W6WH.
It goes to Vaughn.
All right, thank you, Dennis. Yeah. W6DQ-K6ZTA. All right, well, we don't have anything to add right now, but hearing all the stories from Steve and the dealing with the water issues sounds pretty funny, but important. W6DQ-K6ZTA.
Okay, Ron, very good. Nice signal from everybody. And Larry, I'm going to say TMI. Pants down. TMI, my friend. But yeah, never heard of that. That's a good one. I'm going to look into that. Check that out. See if there's anybody else who'd like to check in. This is early check-ins for the Vintage Single Sideband Roundtable coming up in about 15 minutes. This is W6DQ. Please come now.
WA9JIB is here.
Gotcha, Bob. WA9JIB. Anyone else?
That's somebody trying to come in there. Is that California?
Just here in the East Coast. Okay, next up we got Ron, K2RP. K2RP, then Bill, WA6LJR. Bill, you got a nice day. If you were barefoot, you're pounding in here being barefoot if you hadn't had the amp on yet. And then over to Bob, WA9JIB. And Bob, back to me. So take it away, Ron. K2RP, W6DQ.
Okay, very good. Nice to hear everybody out of the band. Nice and quiet. Strong signal. We're on the old Heathkit HW12. I haven't turned this one out in quite a while. And doing quite well. This was the weekend for the sideband classic exchange. And I was on with Rocco quite a bit and with a bunch of other people and qualified a whole bunch of rigs. So we had a lot of stuff on the air and only discovered one thing that wasn't working that I thought was working. So it leads to the file. Okay, over to WA6LJR, K2RP.
This is WA6LJR. Thank you. I'm just making sure I'm on lower sideband. Hey, you guys all sound good at the Pismo Beach. And I'll wait for the round table. I'm not sure who it goes to. I just came back to the shack with a bowl of fried rice. WA6LJR.
Go ahead, Bob. Take it.
Very quiet.
That anything for a name, nice shield.
Quite a nice day here in Marciano. It's a little cooler than yesterday. But don't get in. Rain's coming in tomorrow, though. Gotta remember to disconnect the center with the fluid.
RGIQ, the bigger collector, the level back.
So, other than that, let's see. Looked on email, did not see a topic for tonight, so get one. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to think on my feet. How about that? You'd like to come up with something here, you guys. Back to you, Dennis. W6DQ, WA9JIB.
All right, Bob, very good. Yeah, the East Coast is starting to come up a little bit more. But yeah, no problem. Good. And Bill, you're just crushing it here. Man, oh man. Good grief. Well, let's see. What's going on here? I'll share a few things from Inyokern. Yeah, beautiful day here in Inyokern. It was low 70s, as it was yesterday. We've had two great days in a row. Looking for rain tomorrow night late. So tomorrow tomorrow should be another beautiful day.
Yeah, that's right.
And looking forward to that. Then a week of rain. Yuck. But we need it, and so I'm not going to complain too much about it. But hopefully we'll get, we got a couple of leaks that we're attending to in the roof here in the ham shack. Actually not in the ham shack itself, but in the pass-through. The companionway between the two buildings has a leak, and it's coming from the roof on the other building, so we're going to be taking care of that tomorrow. We figured out where it's coming from. So that's the order of business tomorrow. But boy, the other building, by the time we do the barbecue, this place is going to be really, really nice and fixed up. I'm looking forward to that. So be able to put a bunch more stuff on the air because I'll have the room to spread it out and actually be able to plug it in and turn it on. Oh, well, let's see if there's anybody else who'd like to join us. This is the early list for the Vintage Single Sideband Roundtable. This is W60Q. Anybody like to check in, please come now.
KW1NG.
Gotcha, Ken. Anybody else? All right, let's see if Jay is back yet. NY6L, have you returned? Your 10 minutes is up.
Roger.
Oh, well, okay. Well, let's see. I guess we can, we got about 9 minutes to go now. If we want to do another pass, but we don't have enough time to do another pass through. I wish Jay were back. I could just turn it over to him and he could get started. But yeah, signals are really good tonight. Yeah, I have no idea what the question of the evening is since it hasn't been shared on the email. So I guess we'll all get a surprise tonight. So let me stand by again for check-in.
Yeah, Dennis, you're supposed to wait till the day before it rains to fix the roof. I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, it will be the day before it rains. Actually, it's going to be the day before the night it rains.
Yeah, same here. And go down to the place that used to be my business. What's left of it's got a rain gutter. The leak's on the neighbor. He's wondering. Go up there and try to patch it up tomorrow.
Oh, sounds like fun. Oh, man. Well, I will say that the shack is coming along nicely. Just doing a little bit of trim work today. Cutting the trim for the doorways and some of the we've got a couple of built-in racks. So it'll now be 3 built-in racks, and so we'll be trimming those out to cover up the edges of the racks. Those are just open frame relay racks that are going into the wall. And looking forward to having that where I have access to the back side of everything for a change instead of having to climb over the top of stuff to get to it. So anyway, Jay, are you back yet? NY6L W6DQ.
Yes, sir. Back and ready to rock and roll here.
Okay, you're ready to copy the list. I have a list here for you.
Okay, Dennis, real good. Slow and easy. I don't write that fast, so I'm ready to go.
All right, very good, Dennis. Thank you so very much for taking the earlies at the last minute here. I think I got everybody here. And, well, before I get started at 7 o'clock, we got a couple minutes here. Well, I had to think of a quick question of the evening here. Well, in between my jobs for Bob AK6R, I've been working on an amplifier here, it's got some oxidation and corrosion and all that, Drake L4B. And the question of the evening is, what methods and or what type of secret cleaning type of solution that you use to clean the oxidation and or treat the oxidation without tearing the whole chassis apart for cleaning and preserving what's there so it doesn't get any worse. So that kind of a question there is, what methods and what type of cleaning solutions do you think that works well for oxidized chassis and that kind of type thing? And so that's the question of the evening. Go ahead there, Dennis.
You're handing it. Why are you handing it back to me?
No, I'm just. Okay, no problem. Okay, so that's the question of the evening here. So, all right then. I will be reading the preamble here shortly. Here, let me grab it, and I will be getting started here in just a minute. NY6L Hysteria.
And W6DQ and Indiokirk.
Okay, well, I guess we'll get started here. Good evening to all. This is JNY6L, Net Control, or your host for the Vintage Single Sideband Roundtable. And I'm located here in Hesperia, California, and I'm tonight's host for the Roundtable. And tonight, of course, I'm using a not so vintage transceiver at the moment here with an amplifier here, but anyway, we meet each Tuesday evening at near or around 3895 or thereabouts, plus or minus. All of us should be using equipment that is manufactured before 1981 or home-built equipment with equivalent technology. First-timers may, however, use modern equipment. So already read the question of the evening. I could read it again. So basically, the question of the evening is, what methods and or what type of cleaning solutions or what type of preservation or cleaning of the metal surfaces you do for oxidized radio chassis and that kind of type thing. So we'll keep it about 2 minutes or so. All right. Before I get started, is there anybody else that wants to get on the list? This is NY6L.
K6LGL.
All right. Good evening, Skip. Anybody else before I continue?
W6RHK.
Okay, W6RHK, and your name, please?
My name here is Bob. I'm located in Paris. Over.
All right, Bob, very good. Anybody else want to get on the list?
Well, what are we going to do now? Sell the store.
Okay, very good. Okay, let's get started with the group of four here. So, Andy, 86TKX, you're the first runner-up, and then give it to Steve, KF6SYD. Steve, please give it to Mike, W7MS, and then Bob, AK6R, and then Bob, give it back to me. So, Andy, take it away. K86TKX, NY6L.
Okay, Jay, thank you, NY6L, Net Control for the new sideband roundtable. This is KD6TKX Andy, located at Curry Mountain, California, which is about 80 miles southwest of Fresno. Out in the middle of nowhere, just the way I like it. And thank you to Dennis for stepping in, taking the earlies. And Jay, thank you for being Net Control. Good to hear everyone out there tonight. Excellent band conditions and lots of great signals, so it's a pleasure to be here. Let's see, the equipment here, which is new to me, hopefully it's sounding okay, is a Eldeco station. It's made up of the R104 receiver, T102 transmitter, the P109 power supply, and M135 station controller, collectively known as the S119 sideband communication system. And I'm not sure why, but when I saw it, it just kind of appealed to me, so I started to get involved in the Eldeco game. So already been
helped out a lot by some friends with it, so I appreciate that. And running into an amplifier, running through the SB200 tonight, so hopefully there's enough signal going out there, and it's doing what it's supposed to do. So I'm having a lot of fun operating this, as I said, new rig to me, and been having fun with it. I'm going to answer the question, and I'm the only one that's going to get to say this before somebody else says it, only because I was the first one in line here, but deoxys and a toothbrush, so nothing fancy and not too impressive there, but I can't think of what else I use for clearing up metal on electronic equipment. It seems to be the best stuff. It's almost like magic sometimes, so that's my thing. Not very creative, I'm afraid. So next in line, Steve. Good to hear you. We don't talk a lot on, we talk mostly on AM, so here we are on sideband together. Nice to hear you and everyone else tonight. KF6SYD, this is KD6TKX.
All right, Andy. And the Eldico sounds great. Jay, thank you for hosting tonight. Doing a good job. KF6SYD, Stephen, Long Beach. I'm always on AM. I almost gave my AMI number. All right. Tonight I'm on the Drake B-line. Just like, who else on a B-line? I wrote it down here. Somebody, oh yeah. George, W8 Victor Golf, you're on a B-line too. And mine was, I just turned it on. I heard Brian N I6Q talking. And I had to jump in and start talking and drifting the whole time. And Brian was on out here talking before I was. He's halfway down the list, so I don't know. I feel bad. But anyhow, guys, it's good to hear everyone that I normally don't hear on AM. Don't forget about AM, guys. You know, do it sometime if you hardly ever. AM's fun too. I met most of you on AM, and some of you kind of only do this now. But most of you still come up there. But for those of you that don't visit the AM stuff, come say hi, and I'll try to come down here and say hi to you guys. Looking forward to the next get-together, wherever that is, or whenever that is. Dennis, you're hinting you might have one. I'd love to come out to that. What? Oh, the cleaning. Oh, I don't know. You know, everybody's talking about scrubbing bubbles years ago, but I don't know. I can tell you what not to use. It's what I used on the T4XB. Don't use it. It was kind of greasy, you know. But don't use brake cleaner. It takes numbers and letters right off. It leaves clean spots that you can still read the tube numbers, but they're written in cleanliness now instead of black ink. And so, you know, don't find out the hard way like I did. And it's not a big deal till you take the cover off the radio, but that's what happens. Anyhow, we'll keep it moving to Mike, W7MS, to take it in the group, KF6SYD.
Well, thank you, Steve. I guarantee I won't use brake cleaner. Oh, my gosh, but that's a true confession here on Vintage Sideband Roundtable. This is W7MS, Mike and Reno. Big thanks to Dennis for jumping in and taking the earlies. And good reception from all the folks here on frequency, so no complaints. And, of course, thank you, Jay, for taking control of this wild bunch of sideband dandies here tonight. So tonight running my Collins KWM2A, 312B5 external VFO, and 30L1 amplifier. And antenna's a coax fed dipole. And what got me inspired here is I was thinking just yesterday that I am observing the 29th anniversary of the purchase of the M2A from someone who should have been a neighbor, but he passed away before I moved into the neighborhood to be his neighbor. But his name was Buzz Miller. But enough of that. And well, it depends how you're going to amp it up. Simple green. Some people will get their undies in a bunch over simple green, but that's been my go-to over the years. But then you amp it up, and this gets into the destructive measures, because what do you have to lose if something's a rust bucket or really has heavy corrosion? And and you can start with phosphoric acid, otherwise known as concrete etch it, there at Home Depot. Or if you really want to ruin things, you break out the muriatic acid, which is hydrochloric acid, also available at Home Depot. But sometimes you have nothing to lose. But for the generic stuff, Simple Green for me. And if you're feeling rich, you rinse it off with distilled water, which so you don't have any of those dry spots on there. So over to Bob, AK6R W7MS.
W7MS, AK6R. Another Home Depot fan. Hell, that's fantastic. I think I'm there just about every other day, picking up something or other. But, you know, I've restored a lot of amplifiers in my time and a lot of tarnishes and stuff, and I'm just trying to think what worked best. And I guess, you know, I started off when I was 16 years old making amplifiers and always used Ajax. That's the old standby at the time. My mother had it underneath the kitchen sink. So we used Ajax and a number 2 toothbrush. I wasn't allowed to have a number 1 because I was too young. But anyway, I used that, and then after a while, I started using some Crest toothpaste with it too, to kind of polish off the real dull spots. And you know what? It still works. So that's my 2 cents tonight. Toothbrush, Crest toothpaste, and Ajax. What a combination. Over to you, Jay. NY6L, thanks for taking the net tonight, and thanks for Dennis for the earlies. And good evening to everybody from AK6R in Fall Brook.
All right, Bob, very good. Interesting. Oh, my goodness. Toothpaste. Yeah, I've heard toothpaste for doing polishing work and Ajax. I didn't think about that, even though it's got some abrasive agents. But, yeah, that could probably work, too. My goodness. Okay. Before I continue, is there anybody else wants to join the Vintage Single Sideband Roundtable? Come to NY6L.
W6THW.
Okay, W6THW. Your name, please?
Yes, good evening. The handle's Mike. Mike item King Easy. QTH is Rockland, near Sacramento. And that's about it.
All right, Mike. Great signal. Okay, we got you down on the list. Anybody else? Okay, hearing none. All right, we'll continue on. Okay, the next 4 is Paul, K2LMQ. Paul, please give it to George, W6YEC. And then, George, please give it to Kevin, WA6JKN. And then, Kevin, give it to another George, W8 Victor Golf. And then give it back to me. All right, Paul, K2LM2, take it away, NY6L.
Thank you, Jay. NY6L and the illustrious gang, K2LMQ. Great. Oh, signals are just awesome tonight, everybody. It just sounds wonderful. Well, one quick comment here to Dennis and whoever else it was. I think, Jay, you having to do some roof work before the rain. Yep, right. Same problem right here. There's a storm coming in, and the roof in the garage leaks. And so I hired a guy to fix it up, and he made it worse. So there we are. So some of it will be for yours truly to do. Anyway, ever since Simple Green came out, I've been using that and had good luck with it, and I keep a good-sized bottle of it here and use it for about everything. So over to you, George. You're sounding great tonight. W6YEC, K2LMQ.
Okay, Paul, thank you. You've got a big signal in the lemon gold here tonight. Just real nice. Appreciate it. And Jay, you're doing pretty good yourself. Thanks for taking the net tonight. And thanks, Dennis, again for taking the earlies on everything here. Good list. Yeah, you know, it kind of depends on what you're talking about cleaning. There are things you have to be pretty careful of, like the panels and what have you. But I'm assuming the question is aimed at the chassis. Given that you're working on an L4 there and some corrosion. And, I have been one that has used scrubbing bubbles and on the chassis, and that has worked very, very nice for me. At first I was scared to do that, especially with receivers, because of IF cans getting water stuck in there. But it dries out pretty good out in the hot sun. So that's worked very well for me as a start anyway. And then you can use some other stuff for finishing touches, I guess. So that's my comment on it. And I know you mentioned that scrubbing bubbles also there, Steve. And been doing that for quite a while. I'm cleaning chassis. Anyway, and my SX42 over here could attest to what a good job it does. It was beyond bad. Anyway, it looks beautiful now. Did a great job on it. All right, that's it. Up to you, Kevin. I know you've got some words of wisdom for us. WA6JKN, take it away. W6YEC.
Yeah, W6YEC. This is WA6JKN, Kevin Gilroy. I'm on the 520 tonight with the matching speaker, matching external VFO and the MC50, so I'm almost running what you have going there. It's driving a TL922 Alpha into the fan dipole. Okay, let's see. The only thing I wanted to make sure I mentioned to Steve, SYD, when you use brake fluid, I think what you forgot to do is rinse it off with carburetor cleaner. Yeah, I think that would have helped out a great deal. Okay, so what do I use? I've used different things, and I've wrecked things. And, you got to be real careful, especially with front panel stuff. My first broadcast receiver, the dial plate was destroyed because it was the chemical I used was too abrasive. So never did that again. All right, so what I ended up using as my go-to is Simple Green. That was mentioned by Mike. W7MS. The only thing I do after using Simple Green is I don't like the sticky surface that it's left, so I use contact cleaner in a spray can. Both you can get at either at Lowe's or Home Depot, and I use liberal amounts. Well, not liberal amounts. Probably a lot more than just liberal amounts of contact cleaner, because I want to make sure all that Simple Green's out of there. And but before that, you got prep. You got to kind of use a blower. If you have a small blower, you can buy the can with air in it, and just get all the dirt and crud out of there as best you can. Use a brush. The toothbrush works great. I use that to go to. Everybody should have one in their toolbox. Different sizes, of course. The kids versus the adults, and also paintbrushes. They have different size paintbrushes. They come in real handy. So that's the magic kit that I have, and it seems to work pretty well. Simple Green contact cleaner. I think it's made by CRC or something like that. And make sure everything. You could use the blower too lightly to accelerate any drying if you end up using distilled water on some other thing. So that helps out to accelerate the drying. Well, that's it for me. Great question, Jay. Very, very good. And thank you. Let me go back down the list here. Hang on a second here. Oh, yeah, before I forget, Dennis, thank you for stepping up at the last minute to take the earlies, and Jay, thank you for running the net tonight. And hello to everybody who just checked in. That
that was Mike, W6THW. Yeah, I called him one of the pioneers of ham radio, especially AM. So hopefully that title suits you okay there, Mike. So let's get it over to George there in Oro Valley, W8 Victor Golf, WA6JKN, the king of homebrew.
All right, Kevin, WA6JKN. And the great group here tonight. Here is W8 Victor Golf out here in near Tucson in Oro Valley. And I'm running my Drake B line just like Steve. And driving an old Heathkit SB220 that was my original amp. I built it in the summer of '73, the year the Watergate hearings were on TV. The summer they were on. That's how I remember. Anyways, yes, Steve, I'm a Drake guy here. I grew up in southern Ohio, about 30 miles from the plant, and we were all Drake guys. It's just for a teenager, it was expensive stuff. But I still have my original TR4 here, which just isn't on tonight. We're running the B line, which I've had for about 4 years and went all through. Let's see, cleaning stuff. Interesting question. I use a lot of Simple Green here, but mostly outside. I buy it up at Home Depot there in the big gallon jugs, and it comes in handy for all kinds of stuff. If anybody spills oil on your nice concrete driveway, that'll take it right out. You just spray it, let it soak in, spray it again, and scrub it down with a brush, and it's pretty much gone next time it rains. I have used it in the shack, though, where I have really grimy, gritty, yucky kind of stuff. I've got deoxit here, use that on the switches. One thing I use to polish up metal, chassis and coils, too, I make my own inductors here. It's just kind of a hobby. There was an article in QST 25 years ago called Winding Your Own Inductors, so I started making mine out of copper wire. And I use this stuff to clean those up when they tarnish. It's never dull. It's a wadding. I think I got it last time. Oh man, maybe at Walmart. I don't know. It comes in a can, and it's like a cotton wadding, and it's soaked in. It's probably a mild abrasive metal cleaner, metal polish. It smells a lot like Brasso, the stuff used to use in the service to shine brass, so the first sergeant wouldn't yell at you. But I use a lot of that on these coils because they tarnish up, out of copper. I don't think it hurts at these frequencies that have them tarnished, but makes them look nice. And it really works well both on steel and aluminum. It'll put a nice, almost a mirror shine on aluminum if you use enough of it. So I find myself using that quite a bit. Trying to think of what else, but I think that's pretty much got it for whatever I do. Anyways, good net tonight, Jay. Thanks so much for running it, and Dennis, thanks so much for picking me up on the early. And I came over to Fullerton with one mission in mind, Dennis, and that was to see your KW1. I'd never seen one before. Anyways, back over to you, Jay. NY6L, W8 Victor Golf.
All right, George. Very, very good. All right, we'll just take a momentary break here to see if anybody else wants to join the Vintage Single Sideband Roundtable. Come now to NY6L.
This is WA6JKN. I'm going to have to check out and take a phone call.
Sure, you guys can hear me.
Roger. Okie doke.
Probably a few more minutes if I'm decimated.
All right. Let's see here. Moving right along. Okay, the next four will be Lisa, KF6QNG. Lisa, give it to your husband there. W6DQ Dennis. Dennis, please give it to Brian, NI6Q. And Brian, please give it to Larry, W6WH. And Larry, give it back to me. So take it away, Lisa, KF6QNG, NY6L, for the Vintage Single Sideband Roundtable.
Okay, thank you, Jay, for running the roundtable this evening. Joining stories know we've had similar questions like this, but always interesting to hear what people use. A lot of similar answers. So, for me, I let Dennis do all that stuff because he's the pro, so he knows what stuff is to use. I wouldn't even hazard a guess. So, hope everyone's doing great. Having a good week so far. I know it's only Tuesday, but anyway, we're doing great. So I'm going to pass it over to Dennis, W62 from KF6QNG.
All right, Lisa, thank you very much. KF6QNG and the Vintage Single Sideband Roundtable, W6DQ, Dennis and Inyokurn, and a beautiful day here today. First off, before we do anything, we do have an announcement, which I will repeat, which we did last week. Jay, you didn't ask for announcements in your preamble, but we've got, don't forget, Vintage Sideband Barbecue. That'll be on the 27th of April. That's a Saturday. Last weekend in April here at Faraday Fields in Inyokurn. If you would like to join us for that, do drop us a note. I would like to get RSVPs so we can get supplies and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you let us know your intentions for coming out here for the Vintage Single Sideband Barbecue. All right. Well, yeah, actually this is always a good question. We always learn something new. I heard a couple of things that I haven't heard before, but I got one that I don't think anybody's mentioned that I've used before for cleaning. It's something called, well, they've got a whole bunch of different versions of it, but Barkeeper's Friend. And they've got a, you're talking about Ajax. Barkeeper's is kind of like a scrubbing cleaner like that. Their normal generic version of Barkeeper's Friend, but they make a couple of other versions. One is called a soft cleanser that is not so abrasive, and that does a nice job of cleaning. So that's one that I've used before. That's available at Home Depot. It's also available at Amazon. The one that nobody's mentioned, everybody's mentioned Simple Green, and regular old Simple Green is nasty stuff to use on aluminum. That's a no-no because it is corrosive. Even if you wash it off, it's going to get into places that you wish it didn't get into places. So if you're going to clean aluminum with Simple Green, get Simple Green Extreme. This is specifically formulated for aircraft, and it's non-corrosive. It won't attack aluminum. You still have to clean it off or rinse it off and dry it, but it's a lot less harsh than your regular old Simple Green stuff, and it doesn't stink like Simple Green does either. This stuff it's a little bit more pleasant, and I use that. It's available on Amazon, and this is you can get in a 55-gallon drum if you're doing a lot of cleaning. Gary, WA7BIP, I think, is the one that turned me on to that stuff, the Extreme Simple Green. And he also turned me on to something else that I use. It's something called Sprayway, and it's like a glass cleaner, but it works wonders on all kinds of surfaces. So Sprayway, also available from Amazon. Sorry, had a momentary fade there. A little QSB of the brain. Also, everybody's mentioned Deoxit. Yeah, and I love Deoxit. There's only 30 different flavors of it. Which one do you use for what? And I just get the plain old regular stuff, and I use it on everything. And I try to use a foam applicator. They make these little, they actually have them. The Deoxit guys have it in a kit, but it's like a Q-tip with a foam tip on it instead of the cotton swab. Because the cotton swab, if you use that, the cotton tends to shred and get into everything, like on switches and what have you. So if you get the little foam applicators, it's easier to do that. Let's see, what else? What other stuff have I got? I've got some other things that I use for cleaning. And you mentioned the toothbrush. Toothbrush with this Simple Green Extreme does a great job. It's good at getting rid of mouthline. So that's one of the things that I've found it for, is that'll really trash a chassis in no time at all. But yeah, it's a great question. I'm really, really great to hear some stuff I haven't heard before. So great. Jay, thanks for hosting the net. And we don't know what happened to Rocco tonight, but we'll find out, I'm sure. And with that, I'm going to send it over to Brian. And Brian, I caught you on the opposite sideband, and I know you got it straightened out. So hopefully you're on lower sideband now still. So over to NI6Q and the Vintage Single Sideband Roundtable, W6DQ.
Yes, okay. W6DQ on the group. This is NI6Q. Flagstaff, Arizona, where we had beautiful weather today. Very nice sunshine. We were outside sipping coffee this morning around 8. Gives you an idea. Very unusual. But it's not going to stay like that. We're waiting for precipitations and possibly more snow as well. Using the 75A4 receiver and Barker & Williamson 6100 tonight, as well as the Barker Williamson linear amplifier with a couple of 813s in there, grounded grid, and about 800 watts output of this thing. The plates are running at 2800 volts. So there you go. That's Barker's choice, not mine. So there we go. To the question, I pretty much agree with Dennis. Usually I just take whatever I have to the hose outside. I hose it out. I avoid, of course, hosing the IF cans or things of that nature, meters, especially meters and dials. Okay. Then when it's kind of wet, I use Simple Green Extreme. So there we go. So we have that in common. Dennis, let it dry in the sun for quite a long time, possibly a couple of days, overnight, another day in the sun again. And when that is done, I actually spray it with Deoxit Red, the chassis, that is, and everything, pretty much. And that's the way I do it. And that's everybody has their flavor of doing it. So, very interesting question tonight. Thank you to the host. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Larry, W6WUH, for the Vintage Sideband Roundtable. This is NI6Q Flagstaff.
Okay, NI6Q in the group, W6WUH. Well, I'm going to stick to the question, which was not about how do you clean a chassis, but how do you deal with corrosion. I've written articles in electric radio and published a lot of videos on YouTube about washing radios, so you can get my opinions there. But in terms of dealing with corrosion, the question is, are you talking about aluminum or are you talking about steel? To deal with corrosion on aluminum, about the safest thing to do once you've got it clean, and I mean you've got it well degreased, is to use a green Scotch-Brite pad. And they come in several different coarse thicknesses, so whatever is appropriate. But aluminum corrosion is white, crusty stuff. And unless you're crazy enough to put phosphoric acid on your radio chassis, which I would never do, what you've got to do is go at it mechanically. And once you've done that, that's going to leave pitting. And there's just no way around that. All this other stuff you're talking about, polishing something up to make it look like somebody's baking tin, but to remove it, you've got to use something mechanical or something chemical, and in my opinion, using something chemical is too dangerous. So Scotch-Brite pad after the thing has been thoroughly cleaned. And then the question is, what are you going to do to conserve that surface? And you could do nothing. You can put a little bit of wax on there. But the thing that I like to use is a little bit of Tri-Flow lubricant, which will
dry and leave a little surface of Teflon on the surface, and that works pretty well, and it also works on steel. There's a new chemical product to use on rusted steel, which is a chelating rust remover, evaporust, and it will not attack any ferrous metals. It won't attack aluminum. It will only remove oxides, in this case oxided steel, and leave the base metal. It will not remove any good metal. And I think you could use that on a patch of a chassis if you can contain it. It works best at elevated temperatures, 80, 90 degrees, but it will work slowly at room temperature. And then you just rinse that off with water. So there you go. That's what I have to say about corrosion. I won't use abrasives in a radio. I won't use any kind of abrasive. If you want to do that, fine. If you want to use corrosive chemicals like simple green or phosphoric acid or any of that stuff, go ahead. But I won't use anything corrosive, and I won't use anything abrasive. There's all kinds of good things to degrease with. Good old hot water and dish soap is one of the best things you can use. Soldered solvent, which is a paint thinner, if you can buy it, and rubbing alcohol are all very good degreasers. So that's it for me. Back to you, Jay, NY6L W6WUH.
Okay, Larry, very, very good. Words of wisdom there.
All right, let me take a quick standby. See if anybody else wants to get on the Vintage Single Sideband Roundtable. Come to NY6L. Okay, moving right along. The next four will be Vaughn, K6ZTA Vaughn. Vaughn, please give it to Ron, K2RP. And then Ron, give it to Bill, WA6LJR. And then Bill, please give it to Bob, WA9JIB. And then Bob, give it back to me, NY6L, for the Vintage Single Sideband Roundtable. Take it away, Vaughn.
Okay, thank you, Jay. Yeah, all is well, and you're doing a great job, and thank you. And Dennis, thanks for stepping in and getting me early. Okay, let's see. Onward and upward here to the question of the evening. I haven't had any real severe oxidation on aluminum chassis, but I have had it, and I've had some oxidation, or what was kind of I guess I wouldn't call it rust, but it was sort of like a rust on a steel cabinet. But the oxidation on the aluminum was what I was really focusing on. And what I've used is car polish, a paste, and some elbow grease, and then of course polishing it. I haven't taken anything apart, but only what's visible that I get in there with that, and what I could rub out with my fingers with a clean rag. So, and anyway, let's keep it short. That's my story. I'm using the 100V tonight, and the SB220, and the 10D microphone, and my inverted V at 55 feet. So, okay, over to you, Ron. K2RP, K6ZTA.
John, it's your turn. K2RP NY6L. I guess you had to step away. Over to you there, Bill, WA6LJR.
Yeah, this is WA6LJR, running about half power on the SB221. Found this thing in a storage shed in mint condition and went through it, and it's running great. Everybody's sounding good. And on DQ's roof leak, try this chemical called Tropicool. I just bought a gallon of it. It's $125 a gallon, but it'll seal any leak you have. And it's awesome stuff. Last couple years, I've used it before. Was down on the base today, got my new card to go on, so that was nice, on to Vandenberg, getting ready for the launches. So over to W9JIB, WA6LJR.
Okay, Bill, WA6LJR in the group, WA9JIB, Bob over here in La Cañada. Band's still pretty good. You are merry, but everybody's coming in real nice. Rig is an MC50 mic from Kenwood in the Telecaster's HD32B transmitter paired with an SX115 receiver, R48 speaker, Google through tuner, coax up to my dipole, inverted V hanging off a 35-foot mast. So the usual save, then it's sideband station.
Okay, well, what do I use? Well, I start with the lowest gradient possible, a damp cloth. That's after maybe I go over it with a vacuum cleaner. So a lot of times stuff will come off with just a little water on a cloth and a little elbow grease, and if that'll do it, I don't go beyond that. Particularly with tubes, and if I'm cleaning tubes off, I certainly avoid where the tube number is. Just let that be. Next gradient up, I use this stuff just because I have it in the house. I get it at the dollar store, the 99-cent store, probably costs $1.25 now. It's called Awesome. A little spray can. It's got alcohol, probably isopropyl, I would guess. And that will take off grunge that water or damp cloth won't take off. And I've used that to very good effect. And like I say, it's just the next step up in intensity. And I try to get the job done with the least corrosive thing or abrasive thing that I can. But I've got some chassis on a couple nationals that they're really funky, and so I have used sandpaper at times. Usually I start with either a very fine grit or a piece of paper that's pretty well worn out, and just go very lightly. And sometimes I've had very good luck with that. And other times, like on the copper chassis, you can see you're starting to take the copper off, and then I stop. And you also got to be concerned because some of these chassis are cadmium plated, and you don't want to get that stuff up in the air and be breathing it. So, but I have used sandpaper to good effect at times, but always, like I say, very fine grit or pretty much worn out sandpaper. Just last night, I think they used my Dremel. Somebody had put batteries in that compartment until they leaked. And, well, it's not easy to get in there. So a Dremel with a wire brush or various different attachments. That was pretty resistant to my efforts too. But I finally got it cleaned up. So because I love using my Dremel tool, it's one of my favorite tools. That and my triplet 630. So I'm always happy to find a reason to pull out my Dremel and attachments. Let's see. I have used a wire brush, the one that looked like a toothbrush, but just wire. In fact, sitting here next to me is a Vibroplex Bug, where the nameplate was all corroded. Man, that was resistant too, but a wire brush took care of that very nicely. And it looks beautiful. If I'm doing metal cleaning on a cabinet, when I'm all done, I'll go over it with some lemon pledge. Oh, yeah, I was going to say this awesome stuff. I've looked at some cabinets and thought, this is hopeless. And after 20 minutes of working that stuff into it, it looks brand new. So I've had very good luck with Awesome. And let's see. And sometimes on my trains, I've used a little spritz of WD-40 with some very fine steel wool. On those, I'm working on tin litho, and alcohol will damage the litho, but WD-40 seems not to. So anyway, those are things that I have tried and seem to work. Also, somebody else said liberal application of elbow grease always helps. Back to you, Jay. NY6LWA9JIB.
Okay, very good, Bob. WA9JIB, NY6L. Net control for the Vintage Sideband Roundtable. Let me take a quick break and see if anybody else wants to get on the list before continuing. Come to NY6L. Okay, hearing none. Okay, the last four or thereabouts on the list here, we got Ken, KW1NG, Ken. Please give it to Skip, K6LGL. Skip, give it to Bob, W6RHK. He may or may not be there, but give him a try. If not, then give it to Mike, W6THW. And then Mike, give it back to me, NY6L. All right, so Ken, take it away. KW1NG, NY6L.
Okay, thanks very much, Jay. Ken here in Alpine, about 30 miles east of San Diego, and the foothills about 1,800-foot elevation. We're running the S line tonight, 75S3C. On the receiver, 32S3 with a Shure 444 mic and a 30L1 amp feeding a 92-foot now inverted L. This is an interesting question because we just had this issue. I inherited an old Gonset amplifier, a GSP 101, from my boss at work, and I didn't have a place for it, and he said you could find somebody else. So we found Larry, KN6IYC in Crest. He wanted an amplifier to go with his Ranger and put on the Vintage Net. So the problem with the amplifier has been in my boss's garage for many years, and it fell afoul to the spray paint that was used in the garage. So it was all covered with house paint, dried on house paint. So Larry tried a number of different things on it, not wanting to damage the front panel paint and silkscreen, and he found fingernail polish remover. I guess it's acetone based, but it's got a gel kind of substance to it on cotton swabs, and took the paint overspray right off and did not touch the front panel paint or silkscreen. And so he's got that front panel all cleaned up beautifully, and used WD-40 then on the black crinkle finish cabinet, and that cleaned that up and made it pretty. So he's got the outside of it looking beautiful, and then he took I'm not sure what cleaning agent, but he cleaned the inside of the chassis too, got the dust off of it. Maybe he used alcohol or some other substance, I'm not sure, but he found that to work really, really well. So there you have it. That GSP 101 is going to be on the net and on the Vintage Net here soon. As soon as he gets it, he's going to put some new capacitors in it and get it on the air. Dennis, you mentioned the barbecue on the 27th of April, and you mentioned the park. Did you say Verde, V-E-R-D-E field, or was it some other place? And is there an RV place nearby where we could camp out? I'm just going to break for Dennis real quick. Go ahead. You can. It's Faraday Fields. That's the official name of the property here. Faraday Fields, like in Michael Faraday. And if you don't require a hookup, you can just park right here on the property, because we got 5 acres and there's lots of room. So it's your choice. If you want to do that, you're welcome. W6DQ.
Real
good. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, we'll probably count on doing that then. Excellent. All right. So that's it for me tonight. I will pass it on to Skip. How's it going there in Santa Monica? K6LGL, KW1NG.
Thank you very much, Ken. KW1NG and the Vintage Sideband Roundtable Group, K6LGL, and thank you for running the net there, Jay from Hesperia, sounding good. Okay, I'm on my 902 DM and the 572B amplifier. Nothing fancy here. Old broadband doublet. Now, among my cleaning, I kind of agree with Bob. I started out with the things that used to have in my mom's kitchen, and Ajax was one of them. So that. For panel cleanup, the old window cleaner works fairly good. Also, you have to be careful on some paints and possibly some plastic surfaces, but window cleaner works pretty good. And I also use a higher brush for cleaning up what appears to be surface corrosion, not very deep corrosion. And that's a stainless steel fine wire brush. Works a little bit better than a toothbrush. But you have to be careful on aluminum and others. It's wire brushes are intended, you have to use it with a certain amount of discretion. But it's good for cleaning up old, perhaps certain surfaces. And then I find that the old-fashioned pole 9 for plastic cleanup. It's a good degreaser, and I never had the experience of taking something outside and spraying it. Although a lot of the military equipment I reworked, especially the old SCR 274N and R5s, probably I could have done that, but most of the time I didn't. So it varies. And Brasso was mentioned, or a silver cleaner works good for cleaning up final output coils and amplifiers and other things, bringing your shine back to silver-plated surfaces and so on. Conductivity is usually not the case at low frequency. All right, enough of that. And the next one goes to W6RHK Bob, and if he's not there, I guess it goes to Mike and Penn, who used to be Penman. Yeah, he's the old AMer. Glad to see you still going, Mike. THW there. But let's see if Bob is there. W6RHK, K6RLGL, Santa Monica.
Bob, W6RHK, are you still there? Are you there? Okay. Mike, W6THW, it's your turn. Mike, W6THW. Okay, 2 down. Let's see if Ron, K2RP, is back. Ron, are you back with us? Okay, anybody else would like to be the caboose end of the net here for the vintage single sideband roundtable? Come to NY6L. Okay, no takers. Okay. Well, let's see here. All very, very interesting answers, and for cleaning and for any oxidation. But I think I'm going to give the gold cup to Bob AK6R, because that's very unusual to use Ajax and toothpaste to clean a chassis there for any type of corrosion or oxidation kind of type thing. So what do you say there, Bob, for the Gold Cup, AK6R and Y6L? I guess Bob stepped away too. Well, anyway, I just want to thank everyone for checking in, and I guess we got rain coming here in about 24 to 48 hours, so be safe out there, and I just want to thank each and every one of you for checking in. This is Jay, NY6L in Hesperia, California, closing the vintage single sideband roundtable. NY6L Hesperia is now clear. 7-3, and good evening to all.
73, Jay, and thank you for running the net and the other gents for taking over while you weren't here. Thanks a bunch in 73, J2LMQ.